You need to understand that what might seem bad is not, that what you might think is a delay is actually a progressive movement. Sudani controls. Delete zeros and evaluate the dinar question. How many years would this take? Currency reform is a result of economic growth and diversification. How long it takes is up to Iraq. House of Representatives decide to hold next session next Sunday instead of Saturday, the 12th of August, 2024. They moved it. Why do they keep moving it? Why is it so necessary to do that? New budget amendment and budget, is exchange rate sensitivity in nature. They're waiving the exchange rate right in front of our faces. Everything that they say, do and talk about cannot be at a program rate. The monetary reform is going to get done one way or another. Kurdistan uses the same IQD as Baghdad does, get along or get left behind. A number of my contacts from Iraq that very much believe we will cross the finish line in the next 3 days. We have seen tremendous HCL movement in Iraq. There are many rumors that it has already passed. But I can tell you it was not in the Gazette this morning. In the Islamic world they tend to tell you about things after it is finished. So HCL could be done, just not announced. But the mood is very upbeat in Iraq. There are a number of folks looking at the next 3 days and we are hopeful and praying. People in the streets are saying Sudani had 2 years, and he is not giving us the purchasing power that he promised us. He made a solemn oath to us and now he's saying not in 2 weeks, they won't be completed until the early part of 2025. This is unacceptable. Frank, it's not Sudani that said that. It's this economy idiot, and he doesn't represent Sudani. No one is exchanging at this time and, Guru, Pimpy is correct. There are no 800 numbers, no bonds being paid out, no redemption centers, no meetings in Reno, no appointments, etc. This is all dinar mythology. Gefteris representative, Iraq today is more secure and stable, and its government has succeeded in keeping it away from conflict. Quote, the UN Secretary General's representative in Iraq, Mohammed al-Hassan, said that Iraq today is more secure and stable, and that its government has succeeded in keeping it away from conflict. The financial and banking systems are now in place. Financial transfers are not for just internet transfers but they're also for international institutions. Read it twice if not 3 times. Believe me? While this is big. This may very well be some form of an announcement like we've never seen before. We might be doing some white knuckling this weekend. I don't know that we've seen information like that coming from the country of Iraq and the United States of America. I don't think anybody's ever seen this. Sudani calling Barzani the leader of a crime family in Kurdistan. Saying Kurds are playing dangerous games. Frank, it is sad that the evil politician of Kurdistan are playing this game. There will always be cockroach in every government nook and cranny. This is their last attempt to stop his monetary and economic reforms. The other thing is, the contract rate is a real thing, and, no, we don't have to be under a contract to get the contract rate on a dinar. There is a contract rate. I'm not supposed to say what it is, so I won't, but I can tell you, it's way better than the front rates and the bank screen rate. It's way higher, and it's because President Trump wants to get the best we can possibly get on the dinar. And that's what the 800 numbers will give you access to through the call centers, and we'll end up getting transferred directly to that redemption center that corresponds closest to the zip code that we enter when we're calling the call center through the number. We're not going to be using banks. Some of the redemption centers are next to banks. Connected to banks. Some are wealth management offices. Some are completely different. It has designed this way so that those who use the redemption centers would get the best rates, especially on dinar and quite possibly also on dong and some of the other currencies. A U.S. official said on Saturday that Washington is closely monitoring Baghdad and calling for no Iraqi force to intervene in Syria, adding that Syrian President Bashar al-Assad will likely be part of the political solution in Syria, based on UN Security Council Resolution 2254. The English-language national newspaper quoted the official, who spoke on condition of anonymity, as saying, "Developments are ahead of everyone," referring to the general atmosphere of surprise in diplomatic circles at the acceleration of military events on the ground. The newspaper also indicated in its report, which was translated by Shafaq news agency, that despite this, the United States envisions a political solution through mediation, so that Assad can be part of the agreement on a political transition process. Asked whether the United States would lift the terrorist designation of Hayat Tahrir al-Sham and its leader Abu Muhammad al-Jilani, the U.S. official said that Washington has not reached that point yet, but added that what we are watching are actions, not words. The official also noted that among the actions are how Hayat Tahrir al-Sham and its affiliated groups behave in the areas they control, including how minorities such as Kurds and Alawites are treated. According to the report, the United States is closely monitoring what Iraq is doing, and has informed the Iraqi government that no Iraqi forces, including government-funded militias, should be involved in Syria. The report quoted the American official as saying in this regard, "We told them not to interfere." Regarding Lebanon, the U.S. official said that despite the rapid developments in Syria, the ceasefire in Lebanon is still holding, but there are still many pieces that need to be put in place, including strengthening the Lebanese army forces. Government spokesman Bassem Al-Awadi confirmed Friday that the country has not been exposed to a financial or political crisis, and if it were not for the events in Gaza, the situation would have been better. Al-Awadi said in a statement, Iraq was able to overcome the challenges facing the region, and was not exposed to a financial or political crisis, indicating that if it were not for the events in Gaza, our situation would have been better. He added, Iraq does not seek military intervention in Syria, and it supports the unity of Syrian territory and rejects any infringement on its unity or exposing the Syrian people to more suffering and pain. He pointed out that everything that is happening in Syria is linked to Iraqi national security, and that Iraq is working hard to find a balanced political solution to the recent repercussions. He stressed that the division of Syria is a red line for Iraq, indicating that Iraq is still an effective part of the international coalition to defeat ISIS in Syria and Iraq. He added, the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the members of the House will not be able to impose their word or decide the issue of ministerial amendments, as the issue is decided politically between the leaders and heads of the blocs. He explained that the heads of the blocs agreed more than a week ago not to settle the issue of the ministerial reshuffle, despite the fact that change is natural for any minister who fails in his duties, but there is an emphasis on keeping all ministers in power.